So with that, let's bring in Fox News chief political analyst Brit Hume. Brit, welcome. Always good to see you, sir. Thank you for joining us today. What was your reaction to President Trump with the leader of Ireland today in the Oval Office, who really went after our allies in Europe? And I think he's actually referring to some in Asia as well. What did you think of it?
Well, he has a case. There's a great deal that we have been doing for many decades now to prop up and support the military situation in Europe. In addition, of course, to that, we have, 45,000 troops or so in South Korea and about the same number in Japan, nations that depend, by the way, on Iranian oil. And so I think he's not wrong to think that nations who are affected by this, and even European nations are, although they don't really get that much oil from through the Strait of Hormuz, higher oil prices, higher fuel prices affect them just as much as they do just about anybody else. So I think he has a case that they ought to be interested and willing to help. But on the other hand, it should be noted that he didn't exactly sit down and consult with them or try to wump up a big coalition of forces or coalition of militaries before he undertook this mission.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting in retrospect, Britt, when you think about the fact that even though it was tiny bits of forces, they all jumped on board when they thought he was going to take over Greenland and started sending troops in that direction to protect Greenland from President Trump. And yet, as he says, they have long said there's no way Iran can have a nuclear weapon, and they're not willing to, just sort of provide a bit of armada protection to keep the straits open, Britt.
That's been the history, though, with the Europeans. There's a significant measure of anti-American sentiment in Europe. And a hesitation to join American military adventures. That's been going on for a long time. I remember during the first Gulf War, which involved a very large coalition, it took months to build that, and it wasn't easy. It never is and probably never will be. But it's particularly disappointing to see France and Britain behaving the way they have, where they've been so hesitant. Now, I guess Emmanuel Macron said today that, no, we don't want to get involved in this either. So obviously, Trump has a case. Yeah,
and Trump said he doesn't expect him to be there much longer, so we'll see where that goes. With regard to the media and the reaction to how things are going and the coverage of this sort of day by day, Britt, here's a bit of the reaction. Here's a combination of some voices on that put together. Watch this.
It's becoming clear all the time, frankly, that the Trump administration was not prepared for this war to last.
Now, are we any closer to finding out what the plan is here?
Here we find ourselves again in a situation where we could actually win every single battle and still lose the war.
So this is also sort of classic, Britt. You could go back, I guess, to Vietnam and talk about how wars are covered and whether or not it's accurate or inaccurate in terms of the picture that people are getting across the country. What's your take?
Well, for a moment, Martha, let's turn the situation around and assume a situation in which the United States is under attack from a major enemy. And that enemy is ranging freely over our skies with no resistance, bombing at will, sending missiles at will, attacking our vessels, attacking our ballistic missile systems, attacking our aircraft at will. That they have wiped out, they've killed the president and wiped out his cabinet, and countless officials in the echelons below. And we have responded as the United States by shutting off a major waterway that we need for our economy. Yes, it harms other economies as well. Do you think anyone would be saying that this is, as Walter Russell Mead put it today, a stalemate? I don't think so.
Yeah, no, it's a great point, and it always helps to flip something around and think about what the coverage would be like in that situation, and people wouldn't be saying of those who are invading us or firing missiles all over our country and killing the president. Gee, I wonder why they haven't defined how long it's going to take. Brit Hume, as always, thank you very much. Good to see you, Brit.
You bet, Martha. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.